We are live. I'll be in the background listening. If you have any needs, please let me know and I'll help out, okay?
Okay,
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a meeting of the Board of Selectmen Interview Subcommittee on November 30th. I will read the introduction and then we'll move on with the agenda. This open meeting of the Board of Selectmen Interview Subcommittee is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed into law on July 16th, 2022. All members of the Board of Selectmen Interview Subcommittee are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The act allows the interview subcommittee to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting does not feature public comment. And I just need to make sure that everyone is connected. So Kristen Wickstead, please respond that you are connected.
I'm here.
And Scott Charpentier.
I'm present and can promote Jen in whenever you're ready.
Yes, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen. We've never met. I'm Julianne Hirsch.
You're muted, Jen.
I'm mute.
You were you weren't, and then you were. So yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank
Jen, you have expressed interest in a temporary committee that is asked to meet and look at whether or not the town would benefit from a permanent traffic safety committee. And so could you just give us a little bit of your background and why you might be interested in that?
Sure. So I have 3 young kids, one in middle school, she's 13, and then I have 2 in elementary school. And as a resident here, I've certainly seen my fair share of people's complaints about traffic issues and safety issues. And I certainly have a lot of my own feelings, given that I live on South Street. I live on the downhill that's 25 miles per hour. And I've been working consistently with the police since I moved here about 5 years ago or so to try to get people to slow down. And I've talked to everybody and anybody that would listen, basically. And I was really happy to see recently the chief and especially Susie Sisika they had put in the crosswalks, and I just really want to be a part of creating more things like that. But I want to make sure that all of the people here in town are utilizing their time because I understand that is a concern for everyone. And so I think that me as a volunteer could certainly take on as much as I'm able to kind of take that off of their plate. And I'm happy to do so.
So by that, do you mean that you would have some time to do some research and kind of figure out how because some towns do have traffic safety committees. From what I understand, they're all a little bit different, but does that mean that you would have time to do some research and phone calls?
I would love to. Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom right now. My husband works full-time and I'm able to volunteer. So I volunteer as a Girl Scout leader for my oldest daughter. And And I'm always looking for opportunities. And this particular one really hits close to home for me, both because of my concerns about my particular road, because of other concerns that I've seen going on in town. And I want to make sure that the resources that we have are being given to that, to the best of their ability. And I think that sometimes we're just not identifying those needs. And that's something that I think I can help with.
Kristen, did you have some question?
Yeah, sure. So as far as this committee goes, so what we would be asking people to do is, researching to see what other towns have done as far as what they have on their traffic and safety committees, because Northborough just doesn't have a traffic and safety committee. So, and then also who should be on it, and what kinds of jobs that those people would do. So this committee is more about the kind of the backstory to, if the final recommendation is a committee, then there would be an official committee. So as far as the researching end of things, have you looked into any of that at all yet? Or
yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to contact other towns' committee members, but I really loved the Sheriff's Department actually has its own guide for starting a traffic safety committee. And they have some really interesting things in their website that include how to start one and where to go to do some research, and then how to get people kind of excited and involved. And so I really loved that resource. I think I could certainly write to them, and as well as getting involved with probably other traffic committees throughout the area.
That's great to know. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's good information. Gold star for you.
Thank you. I told you I'm very passionate about this.
Yeah, well, is it true that cars have actually, when they're coming around the corner, have like landed on your front lawn when they go off the road? Has that ever happened to you?
It's close. Several have landed upside down directly across the street.
Okay.
And one hit my property, but ended a couple houses down on the hill. I've recorded, I think, a total of 5 accidents in the 5 years that I've lived here, and 2 of them were cars that flipped over.
Yikes.
And
yeah,
nobody comes out to help except for me and my husband. So it often is really traumatic and scary for us.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, it would be. That is a tough area. I don't know which.
I know that there's others in town, certainly, and everything is worth looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really loved in talking to the chief about my road was he was saying, well, it's a good idea to put up signs and things like that, but really we want to affect the way people do things. So getting people to really just slow down. So I think that there's other ways to kind of explore how to get people in general to participate as a whole, as a community, in safety, because I think that the moms are all calling for it with teenagers on the roads. And there's so many aspects of this community who they're all looking to get involved in some way.
Right.
And so that's certainly an untapped market as far as, if we're creating jobs, if we're looking at this committee to possibly be created, I think that there's a lot of opportunities for people in the town to give input and research in their area of expertise as well.
Mhm.
And I love connecting with those type of people. So I think, as a whole, I think this is going to be a great exploratory committee
Yeah,
to see what we can do.
great. Yes, and I appreciated what you wrote on your application. You wrote, right now, the biggest change I can foresee is the facilitation of communications between town officials through the presentation of the facts collected. That's very well put, and I think that's, obviously, it's not, this committee isn't changing because it's being formed, but the town as a whole changing, and the method of communication changing, which is, I think, a good thing. So, did you have any other questions for us or for Scott, he's here partly to host the meeting and then also partly because he will be the staff liaison to the committee.
How often, or maybe we don't have an answer to this, but how often are we planning on meeting? Do we have any kind of guidelines when this is going to get started and that sort of thing?
I'd be
Yeah,
happy to respond if you like, Kristen.
sure, that'd be great.
So the Board of Selectmen have a meeting on Monday night. This interview subcommittee will make a recommendation to the board for an appointment. If the Board of Selectmen moves forward with your appointment, the slate of members of the Temporary Traffic Safety Committee will be full. It'll be you and four other citizens at large, a member of the Board of Selectmen, a member of the Planning Board. Those are Bill Pierce and Mitch Cohen. At that point, I'll send out an email kind of introducing everyone. If you're selected, you'll also receive an email from the town clerk confirming that you're eligible to participate. And my hope is to get a first meeting done before the holidays in an effort to try to get some assignments to members, and hope we all have some extra time on our hands over the holidays and an opportunity to do some research, as you just indicated, Jen. And then after the holidays, we'll start the actual working meetings. The committee's tasked with coming up with recommendations within 6 months. If it takes that long, that's fine. If it's done sooner, there's no harm in that either. So my expectation is a meeting a month or every 3 weeks for maybe four meetings, and then a recommendation to the board.
Sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.
So one of the things though about this, Jen, is that we want to ask you, do you feel like you're open-minded enough that when you've done the research and discussed it, that you may come to the recommendation that it's not going to, the town doesn't need it. Do you think you're open-minded enough to that possibility?
It's a good question. Yeah, absolutely. We certainly have a finite number of resources in this town, and under no circumstances should we take up time with things that can be done in other avenues. So I think that if there are other avenues that we research and come up with, great. So whatever the research shows, certainly I will support and think that we did the right thing.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice. Well, thanks for your time, Jen. I think we've kept you long enough. It's been.
Wait, can we ask our usual end of the session question?
How did you find out about this? Yeah.
Right.
Like, did you find out through the town website or Facebook or friends?
Gee whiz, I don't know. To be honest, it was either probably it was Susie texting me,
Okay.
but I did see it posted probably on Facebook through the town page.
Mhm.
Okay. Great. All right.
All right.
So nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I'm
nice to
sorry
meet
that
you.
it didn't work out last time, but I'm glad hope everything is okay.
Thank you very much. It was it's a life event, it's something you just have to go through. Thankfully, I'm surrounded by a lot of support, so it's been really quite healing time. Thank you.
Good.
Well, happy holidays.
You too. Thank you.
So you understand now that this is just, Kristen and I will quickly discuss and then we present to the whole board.
Yep,
Monday.
sounds good.
And we'll vote on Monday.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
So Jen, you can leave or you can stay while we discuss.
Oh, that, no, I'm just,
There. She
So,
made herself disappear into the void. There.
so what do you think, Kristen?
I thought that was great. I thought it was a good interview. I expected her to have a lot of passion because she has chimed in about traffic and safety before on Facebook that on pages that I've read, but also her comment about how the sheriff's department has resources for towns that are considering traffic and safety committees. So that would be a good, that was like I said, a gold star comment kind of, because it's sort of like she's already done a little bit of research, looked into it and found a good place to do more research. And that would also be the kind of thing where it's, sheriff's departments helping municipalities, understanding that no one has all the money in the world that they would like to have and all the help in the world that they would like to have to do this kind of thing.
Mhm.
So sounds like a great resource for that committee.
Yeah, that shows, I think that she's got a very deliberate way of researching things, and I also appreciated that comment. I also think that the section of town she lives in represents another section of town that will complement the committee, and even having young children and that whole lived experience, as they say now, it's she's a great candidate in my opinion. So
Yeah.
shall I make a motion that
You shall.
so I would like to nominate Jen Scalise for the temporary traffic safety committee.
Well, wait, you want to recommend, right?
I recommend, right? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I will make the motion. I move that we recommend that Jen Scalise be appointed to the traffic safety committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye, and we will bring that to the Board of Selectmen meeting on Monday.
Right? I think we got it in under the wire so we can get that on the
That going,
agenda
yeah,
for Monday.
that's great. Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Julian. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, are we going to adjourn?
We are going to adjourn. I move that
Okay.
we adjourn.
I second that. All
All in favor?
aye.